I think it's important for them to understand that the doings of a few educators should not define the quality of our educators in this industry. And we center whatever we do around the best interest of the child. The child always comes first in this industry. There is nobody else more important than that child. I've been in the education sector for almost 7 years. It's something that I've always been very curious about. I felt privileged to be part of the growth of a child, to be able to watch them go from that age of being 2 years old all the way up to 6 years old. It was a very meaningful journey for me. The relationship that we have, within this early child sector, it goes like this, It's like a tripartite relationship. You've got the child, you've got their home, and you've got the school. As long as that tripartite relationship is good and there is good communication, the child will always benefit. But once this tripartite relationship is broken, there is unhappiness somewhere, the child gets hurt and the child gets affected. Expectations are wonderful. It's good to have expectations, right? Because it keeps teachers professionally grounded and wanting to work on themselves and work on the children, right? It's wonderful. But once expectations get out of hand, and there are expectations that just cannot be met, parents have to understand that within this relationship, you have to communicate. The teachers in the school, the center leader has to communicate with the parent and come to a common mutual understanding or agreement on how they can help the child. You work together with the parents to meet the expectation. So for example, the expectation of ensuring my child sits down on a chair in school. I want my child to sit down and I want my child to listen. It cannot be an expectation that only the school does. You know what I mean? You have to communicate with the parent and say, okay, I can work on it with the child, no problem. But I'm hoping that we can work together, and at home you also encourage your child to sit down. Right, and encourage her to listen at home and sit down and eat her food, for example, so that we can continue to encourage this habit in school. It cannot be an expectation where all the responsibility is surrendered to the teacher and you tell the teacher, no, I want my child to finish my water, I want my child to sit down, I want my child to do her work and not walk around the classroom, right? You want a lot of things. You can want a lot of things, but are you practicing these habits with your child at home? When you practice the habits with your child at home and there's that proper relationship, right, like that triangle, proper relationship, that child will benefit. If the expectation is too much, I will let the parent know, I will let my center leader know, so that I can, again, center it around doing what I can do to help this child grow. I can understand that some parents within the community or within this country may not be at ease. The majority of us are doing our best for the children. We know what our job scope is. We have been trained to do the work that we are doing now, and we center whatever we do around the best interest of the child. The child always comes first in this industry. There is nobody else more important than that child. And as long as your focus is on that child and you want the best for that child, most of the time you are doing the right thing. Never, ever, ever vent whatever frustrations you have as an educator on that child. Because number one, you break the trust of the parent, right? For sure. And number two, what did that child ever do to you? But what you cannot be doing as an educator is you can never be hurting this child. You should never hurt this child. Mentally, physically, verbally. Don't ever vent your frustrations that you have for anything on this child. Because that child is sitting down there in front of you every single day, wanting to learn from you. Innocently sitting there and hoping to have fun in school and hoping to be supported by you and be guided by you as an educator. So you do your best for that child and that child will be happy enough. If you build a culture where you make your teachers scared to approach you as a center leader, you're always going to have a lot of politics and are going to have a lot of talking behind each other's back happening in the background. Or if you don't have enough staff bonding sessions, right, where everybody is there for each other, if you don't provide those platforms and opportunities and experiences for your teachers in the community, in your center, then you're always going to have a problem with having this transparency. So it really depends on the culture that you decide to build within your center. Yeah. So again, I would say, for my center, right, we don't have that problem because we are very transparent with each other and we care so much for each other that incidents are always informed to me. I do the appropriate measures and then I try to manage and mentor as much as I can, right, within reason. If things go out of hand, of course, other things have to be done. I am blessed with some of the most amazing parents I think anyone could ever meet. You are given mini texts here and there saying, thank you so much for taking care of my child, whatever you're doing doesn't go unnoticed. My child came home today saying that she loves school so much. And these tiny things that they say actually mean so much. I think teachers need to realize that those little notes that children write and those cards that parents write you don't just throw it away. Open them and read them. It's not just about the gifts. You will see beautiful things written. Things that will bring you to tears, when you hear parents write things like, I'm so happy my daughter is in this school, I'm so happy that you are her teacher, we are so grateful that we are able to send our child to school at peace, knowing that my child is well looked after. These are such important things that teachers should be reflecting on and remembering. It could just be one note that you received within that whole year, and that makes it not a thankless job. You can feel unappreciated, right? Because parents don't say anything, but you have no idea how grateful those children are to have you. As long as you know you're doing your best for them, it can never be a thankless job. Yeah. I think that if you choose to be in an early childhood sector, do it from the heart and don't ever do it from anything else. It has to come from your heart.